They did not.
Did they care once they found out?
Well, my father didn't care. He was alive. He just died last year. But my mother, adopted mother, had died before I ever found my birth mother. So she never knew. But my dad basically got on the phone with my birth mother and just thanked her so much for giving him the joy to have a child of his own.
Well, the reason I asked that question, I've confronted pro-aborts about this before. I've said, I remember a debate I did in Dallas one time, and this thing was coming up, and we were talking about, I said, are you telling me that children created from rape are different than other children? I said, because look around this audience, it was at a college. I said, tell me which one of these children were created through rape and which one of them weren't. And
what I ask all the time.
Should we kill the one right now?
Should we kill the one right now that was created through rape? And the reason I ask you that question is, and of course, I obviously knew what the answer was before I asked it, but your father didn't suddenly look at you and say, oh, man, I've loved this child all my life, and now I find out she was created through rape. I've been deceived all these years, and she's not what I thought she was. Your father didn't do that.
He didn't do that. In fact, he was even more grateful to my mother for having given birth to me.
Because she went through a pretty traumatic ordeal. My goodness.
Right.
And the stigma that goes along with even clouding my thoughts for a few hours that I was nothing worth living. And, if it had not been for Jesus Christ giving me my identity at that moment, I probably would have committed suicide for the lies that were floating around in my head.
Well, that's the way Satan works.
Yeah, it is.
And you're the good that came from a horrible situation.
Right. And, I look at, I have an adopted daughter, of course, and I've been in contact with many, many other people through the pro-life movement that have adopted children. And I've never met one of them who said that had their child been created through rape, they wouldn't have wanted to adopt that child. That child is tainted, or it's less than human, or less than the rest of the children. And I mean, you go into a high school classroom and look around, and the chances are that there may be a child there that was created through rape. I just want these pro-aborts to point that child out to me.
Right.
So how do you know?
Yeah. Mark, you know that I was adopted as well, and I have a sister that was adopted 2 years after myself. And about 7 or 8 years ago, she found her birth family. Her birth mother actually passed away, but she got 7 other brothers and sisters other than me. And they told her that the reason that she was put up for adoption is because her mother was raped and she was pregnant. They didn't know if this was her father's baby or half. As it turns out, she doesn't look like the rest of the clan. And I asked my sister, how does that make you feel? I've been involved in the pro-life movement. She said, you know what? I am just glad to be here. I don't care who my dad was. I'm blessed to know you and my other family, and I feel like one of the most blessed people in the world.
Right. Well, Judah, I tell you, your thing has really moved. It's moved us. Your mom really is your hero.
She is.
And
she really is.
And Troy and I and you, we do share one thing. I was adopted too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was actually adopted by my mother's sister, but I know my natural mom. And I met my mom, and I love my mom. But what your mother went through, I can understand why she's your hero.
Absolutely.
And that's what I tell people all the time. Instead of becoming a murderer that you can't live with for the rest of your life, be a hero. Everybody wants to be a hero. You make a mistake, or in this case, rape or incest, that's not caused by you. Be a hero. A hero is defined as saving a life.
Who gave you your name? Your birth mom or
my adopted mother? And she didn't even know what she was doing because they were Catholic and they prayed to St. Jude, not really knowing that the root, Judah, is, it means praise unto God.
Wow.
But God has his purpose.
Absolutely. Wow. Right. And you're here for a reason. And, it's just it's an amazing story. It really is. And I appreciate your being brave enough to come on here and talk about it. And
people say that, but this is not brave. It's like I'm compelled to tell people because there's somebody out there that needs to hear that so that a portion of society can live. And when I asked God if this really was him that created me, he said, if man were in control, then every woman who wanted to be pregnant would be pregnant.
Right.
But even the test tube baby is not alive until God breathes into that cell.
Right.
Is your birth mother still alive?
My birth mother is, and please keep her in prayer. She's in the hospital right now. She just had surgery, and I can't find out what's wrong with her. I mean, I can't talk to the hospital because we have to have a password or something. Anyway, long story.
Right.
Just pray.
Well,
We will.
Again, we thank you so much for coming on. And you know what?
Does she have a website?
Yes, you do have a website, do you not?
I do.
It's www, we'll put it up on the screen,
Okay.
judaforpraise.com. And
And I've got a book coming out in about 5 weeks that deals with forgiveness for people who cannot forgive themselves or other people.
well, you know, Judah, I guarantee you I'm going to hear from somebody. It may not be next week or next month or sometime, but I'm going to hear from somebody who saw this and showed it to a girl who's been raped and changed her mind about abortion. I guarantee you you've saved at least one baby here today, at least one.
Praise God. And I'd love to hear
I'll
the
let you
story
know
behind that.
when it happens, and it will happen. I'll certainly let you know.
Oh, God bless you.
But you know, we've got to the point in this country where when women are raped and become pregnant, it's just assumed. Abortion is just like, okay, now you know you've been raped and now you're pregnant. We'll get the abortion scheduled, and then we'll get that taken care of. Then we'll sit down and start seeing how we can counsel you. It's just like it's the default position.
Right.
And it's almost like I had a lady call me one day about that, and she said when she was raped, she was married at the time. She said I got pregnant, and everybody, my husband, my parents, his parents, the doctor. Well, obviously you're going to have an abortion, and she did. She said I thought I'm the only one here. There must be something wrong with me. I'm the only one here who's not really sure that this is what I want to do. But I must be wrong because everybody else is just saying it's automatic.
They deny the woman's half of the baby, and they just see this child as the demon seed of the rapist.
Right.
And we've heard so long, well, how can I raise a baby that I was raped by the dad? And that'll just remind me all the time.
Right.
Because
You don't
that's been the
have to raise
default
it.
position. Yeah.
Right. You can place that baby for adoption.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee you this, as an adoptive parent, when they hand you that baby, I've been in that lawyer's office. When they put that baby in your hand, you don't care. You don't care how that baby was created. It doesn't matter. Well, again, thank you for being with us, Judah.
God bless you. Thank you so much. And for all the babies that you're saving, that won't necessarily come and thank you. I'm going to play proxy.
Well,
God bless you and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judah.
Bye-bye.
We need a lot more amazing stories like that to get out in front of people.
I couldn't handle that one.
Oh, you're
And you know what? The pro boards can't either, and this is why we are winning this fight.
Absolutely.
The pro boards have no stories like
Not
this.
only are we winning, we are going to win.
Yes.
We're not. That's not going to be turned around, and the pro boards know it. I guarantee
They're
it.
deathly afraid of people like Judah.
Absolutely. That's all the time we have for now. Until next month, don't forget that Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. See you in February.